Hi guys, it's Morgan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, there will be spoilers in this review, so stop watching if you don't want to be spoiled. So, here's my review of the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I thought the scene where Scott was narrating about what his life was like now was pretty funny, especially when the cafe owner said, "Thank you, Spider-Man," instead of Ant-Man. It was also really nice to see the reactions people had when Scott would walk by them. But they were also understandable reactions that anyone would have if they saw an Avenger walk by. Considering what Janet knew about Kang, it made sense why she reacted the way she did when she found out that Cassie was sending a signal to the quantum realm. I understand that Janet just wanted to forget about Kang, but if she had told Scott, Cassie, Hope, and Hank about what happened, then they probably would have agreed to never do anything related to the quantum realm ever again. But if Janet had told them about what happened, then there wouldn't be a movie. When Scott and Cassie were taken by the rebels, and the rebels were chanting, and Cassie told Scott to drink the goo, I immediately thought that the goo would help Scott understand what the rebels were saying. And I was right. And that also made a lot of sense, since I doubt that Cassie would have told Scott to drink it if it was dangerous. If I had to pick a favorite rebel, it would have to be Veb. I really loved him. I thought he was really funny. It was also really funny how Quaz would react whenever he was hearing people's thoughts, and I thought Gentora was a really good leader. I didn't blame Hank for how he reacted when he found out that something had happened between Janet and Lord Kryler while Janet was stuck in the quantum realm. But Hank was able to get back at Lord Kryler since he made one of the creatures Lord Kryler had eaten bigger, and it ate Lord Kryler, which was something I was actually surprised about, since when I saw Bill Murray in the trailer, I thought he would have a bigger role, but he didn't. I thought it was really funny how Scott and later Hank reacted when they found out that Darren was MODOK. But it was also an understandable reaction, since they both thought that Darren was dead after the events of the first Ant-Man movie. I also really liked that Cassie was able to get Darren to stop being a dick, and he fought against Kane. But that ultimately led to his death. It was also really funny when while Darren was dying, he told Scott that he always felt like a brother to him, and also said that at least he was dying an Avenger. The way Scott, Cassie, Hope, and Hank reacted during that scene was really funny. When Kane threatened Cassie in order to get Scott to help him get his power core back, it was really sad to see, but also not a surprise, since that would be the only way that Kang would have gotten Scott to help him. I also didn't blame Scott for being mad when Kane went back on their deal, but at the same time, Scott should have considered the possibility of that happening. I mean, he clearly knew that Kang wasn't a good guy, so he should have known that he couldn't be trusted. The scene where Scott split into different variants of himself was pretty funny, especially since one of the variants of Scott still worked at Baskin-Robbins and never became Ant-Man. I also really loved that even though all of the variants of Scott were different, they all cared about Cassie and helped our Scott reach the power core to save her. But it almost didn't work out. But luckily, Hope showed up and helped Scott get the power core. I really loved seeing Cassie and Jentora working together to get the rebels to come to Kang's tower and fight Kang's forces. And it was really great to see the rebels win. I was also worried when Janet, Hank, Hope, and Cassie were able to make it home, but Scott had to fight Kang. And since Scott said that he didn't have to win, he just had to make sure that both he and Kang lost, it made me think that Scott was going to have to stay in the quantum realm. And when Hope came back and helped Scott defeat Kang, but the portal for them to go home closed, I thought that Scott and Hope were going to have to stay in the quantum realm forever. But luckily, Cassie opened up another portal and they were able to go home. I thought it was really funny when at the end of the movie, Scott started to second guess himself about whether or not they really defeated Kang, but then brushed it off. But Scott had a right to be worried since the mid-credit scene was a meeting of multiple variants of Kang planning an uprising. I also really loved the post-credit scene, which was Loki and Mobius finding another Kang variant named Victor Timely in the 1900s. I was already excited for season 2 of Loki, but seeing that scene made me even more excited. Something that I noticed is that the rings that were around Kang's tower made me think of the rings from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And since in the mid-credit scene of that movie, it was revealed that the rings were sending a beacon somewhere, it makes me wonder if they're connected to Kane. Thanks for watching, guys! If you saw the movie, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And if you want to see any of my future Marvel-related videos or any of my other future videos, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!